Hello, and welcome to Cashew Cosplays. I'm Denise, and we're going to talk about the childbirth thing. Well, we'll get into that. So last episode I talked about, how I found out I was pregnant and all that stuff. And then throughout my pregnancy, it was just an experience that you can't really explain until you have it. So, there's not a lot of things that happened during my pregnancy. If you have questions about my pregnancy, you go ahead and comment below and ask me these questions. I'll happily answer them, even if they're crazy and weird. So let's get into basically the birth of him was really not what I expected. So when you go into a hospital, they set you up. I was induced, so that means they induced me early to get him out. And if you don't know what that means, you should look it up. So yeah, I was like, okay. I go in the hospital. The room was huge. If you saw my Instagram, I filmed it. I was like, whoa, the room is bigger than a hotel almost. And I was like, that's pretty cool. There's like a nice chair for him, vents to sleep on, and all that. It was cool. So after we settled in and they were like, just sleep, they put like 2 monitors on me to see contractions and hear his heartbeat. And that was very weird because I couldn't move. And then they stuck me with an IV. I've never had an IV before, and if you never had an IV, it's the weirdest thing. And for me, plus I was swollen, but for me, they couldn't find a spot for the IV, so they stuck me like here, and then like they stuck me over here, and I had a bruise forever. And then they finally got me like under Bumblebee's foot, and they finally got me there. And they flushed the IV, and literally you can taste, when they flush it, you can taste whatever it is. And I wasn't ready for that. I was like, what? And it feels weird because you can feel it going to your veins. It's the weirdest feeling I've ever felt. There was a lot of weird feelings I felt during that time, but that was a weird one. After they did that, they hooked me up to this IV that just gives me liquid to keep me hydrated and everything. And it makes you pee a lot, which is very hard to do when you're strapped up to a bunch of stuff and you have to unplug these things through a machine to go to the bathroom and they come back and plug it in. That's something that happened. So we slept through the night, as much as we could because the doctor kept coming in. I mean, I didn't sleep very well. Vince did, because he didn't have anyone, waking him up. They woke me up to adjust the monitor because, Felix would move and then his heartbeat would disappear and they would have to go back and put it on him. So then the next day, it's about, I think I woke up at 5 o'clock and I was like, my back hurt. So I sat up and I was just chilling there, and Vince was still asleep and I was getting bored, and then I fell asleep because you are so tired at this point. Like, I never been so tired in my life until like I got into the hospital and just the fluids they pump into you and getting ready to have birth. But if I thought I was tired, I get more tired as the time goes on. So I pass out for another hour or 2. I wake up around 6, and then she comes in with another IV to put in me, and it was the liquid that helps me get contractions because I wasn't getting a lot because they have to induce you. So she hooks me out of that, and I was like, whatever. And at this point, I was like, I do want an epidural. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. It's a weird word. And I said, yeah, I want it. And they said, you can get it anytime you want. And I was like, well, I'm not getting contractions. I'll just wait, because I'm pretty sure I can handle the contractions until like it gets really heavy. Well, I was wrong. Okay? So that stuff works really well. I started getting contractions about like 20 minutes after they hooked me up to that, and they got like, at first it was like cramps, like if you're a girl you know what I'm talking about, just regular cramps. But then it got 20 times worse, and I already hate my cramps during my monthly thing as it is, and I wasn't handling it. I was not having it. So I'm like, okay, I called the nurse and I was like, I'm ready for that. I'm ready for the needle in the back. Alright, I'm ready for it. And she goes, okay, let me put you on the list. And I'm like, excuse me, there's a list? Oh yeah, 2 other girls in front of you. I was like, oh, okay, that shouldn't take long, because I look it up on Google and I'm like, how long does it take to get an epidural? And they're like 15 minutes, 20 to 30 if they're fat or have diabetes. I'm like, them bitches better not be fat or have diabetes because I need this goddamn epidural. Because it started hurting. I couldn't sit up, and there was no way to get comfortable because, again, I'm strapped to more machines. They also strapped me to a thing to check my blood pressure every 20 minutes. So I stood up. I found a good spot to keep, like, the 2 monitors on top of me and have my IV, and I'm holding onto the IV thing, and Vince is holding me on this side, and the contractions get worse and worse. I'm freaking out and it hurts, and he's like, I didn't expect it. I didn't cry. I think I was at a point where I couldn't cry. It was so bad that I couldn't cry. I wanted to, but it wasn't happening. Those are attached to me, and then I have to pee like every like 3 minutes. So then I have to time everything. So I look at the clock, and every 2 minutes I'd have a contraction, and I would have to pee like after that contraction happened, and it'd be like I'd have to pee like every 4 minutes. And then the thing would, the thing to check my blood pressure would, you know, do the blood pressure thing and squeeze my arm every 20 minutes, and I had to time that, because if you take that off and you go to the bathroom and you come back and it's already doing that, then it will stay compressed. It gets confused and then it messes up everything. So I go and I time everything as much as I can to like unplug everything, run to the bathroom, come back, and time it to where I pee real fast before I have a contraction and put the thing on. And it was really difficult. But finally, I'm waiting, and it was like an hour and a half until someone came in. But it wasn't the person that does my epidural. It was my doctor and 3 other people. They come in, and one was my doctor, one was my nurse, and then helping nurse, and then his student. He had a student. The nicest guy came in, said hello. He actually was at my appointment 2 days prior to that, and he gave me a shot. Not like, you know, a shot, like a needle shot for the kid, you know, to make sure he's, you know, to get a vaccine into him. That is for whooping cough. That's what it's for. Very important to get, I guess. I don't want him to get sick, but it goes into me, so then I can't get it and he can't get it, and it's good because they can't give him the vaccine right away, and there's a possible chance that he could get it, especially in the area that we're in. But whatever. Super nice guy came in, introduced himself. He's like, we met already, but really cool guy. He's like, I'm gonna be here. I don't want you to be uncomfortable. I'm like, nah, dude, it's fine. So many people have already looked at my cooch. There is no problem. I don't care anymore. So all those people come in with that guy. They all come in with my doctor, and they're just like, he comes in like, dude, my doctor comes in like, no, like, reaction to anything. Just walks in like, lay down. I'm like, whoa, what are we doing the epidural? No. We're popping my water. Alright, cool. So they lay me down. Don't even tell me that this is happening. They just do it. And I'm just like, at this point, I have my anxiety going. I'm in pain. I'm shaking. And then I'm like, whoa. And they pop my water, and then they shove the thing up there to see my contractions. And then they could take the other one that's on my stomach off. So then there's one thing gone, but an extra one, you know, up there. You know, hanging out. Next to the baby, they said. So he's got a friend up there, and I'm just here with contractions. And then she's like, okay, the guy's coming in. I'm going really fast, sorry. So the nurse goes, okay, the guy is coming in, and sit up, put your butt to this edge of the bed, and bend over and hug this pillow. And I'm like, okay, I guess. She's like, are you okay? And I'm like, no, I want to die. Super great nurse. My nurse that helped me through the pregnancy, because I had like 40 nurses, because they all changed, because, you know, night shifts and stuff, and they were all super nice, and I'll get into them later after the story. So she's holding my shoulders, and the guy comes in to do my epidural, and he's like, you can feel pinch, and he hits me, and I didn't flinch. She's like, wow, you're really good, you're not even flinching. And I'm like, that's because I'm having contractions. And the thing about those is I can't move because he's sticking something into my spine, which you can't feel at all. Perfect. It was great. And Vince is standing in the, like, I can see Vince, like, standing over on the side, just like, wow. He's just watching. Because I can imagine, like, he said the needles were, like, big and stuff, and I was like, I don't care. I didn't care. And she's like, just breathe. So I'm just sitting there trying to breathe and keep my contraction because I can't move, so now I'm just dealing with those. And then they finally put this tape on, and they lay me back. So now I have another tube going through my back, hung up on my IV thing. So I have like 3 things in there for my IV. And then she puts another thing to go to put water back in to my uterus, to the thing that was connected next to the baby, because he started getting angry that the water was gone, and if he's angry he won't come out. She lays me back down and she's like, okay, tell me when the contractions start like going away, and they did slowly. I had like maybe one more big one, and then like, you know, back to the normal cramps, and then they were just numb, and it just felt like, you know, something pushing, but no pain. It was amazing. Like from here, like from underneath my boobs down, felt nothing. It was awesome. So I could sleep, and I slept for about 2 hours. So they popped my water at 11 o'clock, and at 6 o'clock is when everything went downhill, and they were like, baby needs to come. She comes back in, and she's like, okay, we're going to start actually pushing because his head's not coming down. We're going to try to get him to, you know, get in there, try to come out. So she lays me back, and then she gets a phone call, and she's like, oh, great, they call me. I was waiting for this phone call, but they decided not to call me, but now they want to call me. So she leaves to go, you know, answer the phone call, and I told her it's fine. And then I look at Vince, and I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. Right after I said that, immediately threw up in my mouth, and then I was like trying to hold it, and Vince is like, oh shit. Starts running around trying to find something to put it in. He dumps his Dr. Pepper in the toilet, and like brings the cup over me. But at that point, I'm just throwing up now from the side, and I'm laid back, so I can't, like, I was throwing up. And it was because of the epidural. But I felt immediately better, but I started shaking, and that's because the hormones make you shake. But I thought it was cold, but I guess it wasn't. I felt cold, but I felt really warm down below with my legs and stuff, it was awesome. And then she came in, she felt really bad. I felt bad for her feeling bad, because she's like, I'm so sorry, and she's like cleaning me off, and she takes my robe off and puts me a new one on, as much as we could do, because I was strapped to everything. So then she leans me back, and I start pushing. So my doctor comes in, they're like, we practice push, the head's not down, should we wait more? And he's like, no, we're going in. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's time to go, it's 6 o'clock, it's time to go. And he's like, push when the contractions happen. And at this point I was so numb I couldn't feel the contractions. He's like, shut the epidural off. And I'm like, no, don't do it. Alright, he did. He shut it off, and then he shut the contractions off because it started pissing Felix off. The contractions started pissing him off, and if he's angry, he doesn't want to come out. And he's like, push. Vince is holding one leg, the student's holding the other leg, and I push, and he's like, okay, this kid's not coming out. We're going to have to use the vacuum, which makes the kid have a cone head. This is how it works. And he's like, pretty much, this probably isn't going to work. We're probably going to have to do a C-section. And I immediately was like, no! Freaked out. I looked up at the student, and I was like, how long does it take to recover? And he's like, well, not that long. It takes a little bit, like a couple days more, but I wouldn't be able to go back to work the time that I need to. And I was like, I wouldn't be able to make money. I was freaking out. The nurse was like, oh, you're being like a mom. I was like, I know. It's the point, I guess. She's like, you're already having mom moments. Whatever. I was like, hell no. And I pushed him out. Because I was not having it. He gave me a 2-degree tear. He was 5 pounds and 14 ounces. But yet he still ripped me open. Sorry, a little too much, but hey, this is life. But then after that, that was a powerful and insane feeling to have a kid like that. Like, no, like, all jokes aside and how intense that was, it was such an empowering moment to like be able to do something that it felt like I couldn't do. It felt like something I've never felt in my life, that I can't achieve something, and then I did achieve it. That's what it felt like, and it was an amazing feeling, and I'm so glad to be a mom because of it. And it was so weird because after the shoulders come out, you could feel everything. You could feel the arms and legs and his whole body, and then he goes, wah, and you're like, oh crap, that was crazy. And then I felt other things fall out of me, because everything falls out of you. But then, like, after that, I don't know, I was a mom. And then there's pictures of me. I'll try to put them up places. There's a picture of me. I look horrible in it, but I look so relieved and so happy and so tired. And they put them on me for the first time, and I'm just like, oh, And I'm like, I'm so glad I got you out. I'm so glad I have you, and I want to go to sleep. And then they were like, okay, we're going to take him and clean him off because he's about to poop on you. And I'm like, oh, that's my boy. And I'm like, you could take him. I don't need him to poop on me. I'm already dealing with something else. But the thing is he was distracting me for what was really going on, and I had no idea that I was getting sewn up. And then all of a sudden I was like, that is someone sewing me, and it hurt. And then he's like, this is not the needle. He just pulls it, and then I'm like, oh, I don't need to know if it's the needle or not. It doesn't matter either way. It hurts. So, yeah, that was fun. That's the story of how Felix was born. Pictures, if I can get them up. Here they are, all over the place. And I want a special thanks to people that will never probably see this, but my nurses and my doctor and, you know, Vince especially, he'll see this, and my dad. But the only person that came with me, because my mom was in the hospital too. She's fine, but she was in the hospital. She was supposed to be there, and she wasn't. But thank you for being around, emotionally support, and my dad. Vince, thank you so much for staying there when I was being a little bitch about the contractions and keeping me calm throughout the whole thing and just being a great dad. And for my doctor, who I still see, he did a great job, you know, getting him out of me, I guess. And that student was super nice. He made me feel comfortable. And every single nurse that I saw, like I had, and my son's nurses, I had like 3, no, I had 4. And the one that helped me with the birth, the one that cleaned him off, then the one that was my night nurse throughout that, who helped me get out of bed and helped me move around because I was numb, and helped me go to the bathroom for the first time afterwards. She was amazing. And then the 2 ladies that helped my son throughout the night after she transferred me over to postpartum room, thank you to them. They were super great. Thank you to my pediatrician nurse at that hospital. She was a great lady, you know. And my morning nurses, they were super great for me and Felix, and they were all so amazing, and it was the best hospital treatment I've ever had, and the most insane experience I've ever had. And will I do it again? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe one day. We want to have Felix to have a brother or sister, but for very, very long time from now, he could have a brother or sister. And that's the story of all that. It was intense, and I hope you enjoyed this video. We're going to get back into a set schedule. I'm going to start working on Genji's bed, and then some family things. I have little family projects to do. Probably use that for pen tips. I'm probably going to use that, but this time we're not going to fail because it's actually something I really want to do. And then we're going to work on some cosplays, and I have a very, very special thing that's going to happen on this channel that I don't know when, but it's happening. I'm excited, and you won't know until it's happening. So I have a very special surprise that I'm very excited about. Some of you won't like it, some of you will. And then on my other channel, I'm going to try to get back into things after I talk about my tattoos and all that stuff. And we'll get back into gaming over there, and I'm going to try to figure out when I can do live streams again. It's very difficult to find a set schedule. I'm going back to work, so things are going to get crazy. I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see when the videos are going to be spread around the week. So thank you very much for watching. See you Conaholics in the next video. Bye. What? I'm filming.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know you were.
It's
You were such a sadistic mother.
I love him though.
That's why. That's a drop. Okay.